thanks to the support as a channel member, Sean Doyle. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed with our Champions League performance this year as well. To be fair, though, if you want us to start competing in the Champions League, you're going to need to give me more than £1 million transfer budget like you did last summer. It's all well and good saying you'll see what you can do, but we need, if you want a Champions League win, we need Champions League winners' budgets. Yeah, exactly. Hello and welcome to part 84 of the Greek Odyssey. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special following on from our 5th consecutive league title here in Greece, our 2nd consecutive Greek Cup win. The double-double was achieved, but now we need to put together a team that can actually go a little bit further in the Champions League, because if we have a look at our competitions tab, a first-round knockout in the Champions League, it's not okay. It's not what we're looking for at this stage of the save. If we have a look at our Champions League performance over the course, where is it? There you go, Champions League. So we've had 6 seasons in the Champions League now, losing in the second qualifying round, third in the group, a quarter final, and we thought we were getting somewhere, but now back to a first knockout round. And really, we need to be looking to put together a team that can get quarterfinal, semi-final this season coming up, or else it starts to feel a little bit like Mrs Wearmouth doesn't want to get the job done. And I think Mrs Wearmouth does want to get the job done, because she's even on the favoured personnel list now. I've never seen this happen before, but Mrs Wearmouth is on favoured personnel as a club owner. I've had some club owners over the years, and I've never known them make it onto the favoured personnel list. So I love the fact that Mrs Wearmouth is on there, but she really does need to throw some money at us this year. And I know she's decided to withdraw finances. Really, when we got into the Champions League, going back 6 or 7 seasons now, she decided to become a background sugar daddy rather than someone who, or sugar mummy, I guess. Just sounds weird. But she wasn't going to throw loads of money at us anymore. And she hasn't really made any kind of investment at all since we've been a Champions League club, because we've been able to fund ourselves. The problem is we could really use a little bit of investment around about now. Throw 30, 40 million pounds at me. I don't need a 200 million pound budget. Give me a 30 or 40 million pound budget. I'll deliver you the Champions League, Mrs Wearmouth. That is my promise to you. We'll find out what the budget is a little bit later in the video. But first, it is our season review stuff. So this is our new version of the all-time best 11. The player who's been added to it this year is Dominico Carnivale, who, for someone who I signed saying he's all right, he'll be a winger, he's not done badly as a striker, has he? 40 goals in 83 appearances and a 7.23 over the course of 2 years. That'll do. So our all-time best 11 now is Brinoli in goal, still. Tennessee really needs to be forcing into this position in goal sooner rather than later, because it's mad that Brinoli's still the keeper, still playing in Saudi Arabia. A back four of Kansarovic, Ryan Lawson, who is just coming off the back of his first season as a Manchester City regular. Started 20 games for them. Also started 5 Champions League games, 4 international games for Portugal. Not quite the average rating we've come to know and love from Ryan Lawson, but I guess doing a 7.43 in the Greek league is a little bit easier than doing it in the Premier League. And I guess for a fairer comparison, he averaged a 7.33 in the Champions League last season for us. Manchester City averaged a 6.86. Can we bring Ryan Lawson home? We'll scout him. We'll look into it. That would be, if we get a decent budget and we were able to bring this guy back, that would be sensational. I would suggest probably never likely to happen, though, in light of his wage demands. Michaelis is the other centre-back. Kalapitas at right-back, of course, both of them, along with Kansarovic still at the club. Lebrew at the base of the midfield, who's now playing for Apoel in Cyprus, on loan from Sporting. So he was part of the Sporting team that got promoted back to La Liga, but never actually got to play in La Liga, got loaned out to play in Cyprus. Has he played any more international games this year? He has not. His international career has kind of stalled at 22 caps. Now he's not playing in a major league or major competitions anymore. Lebrew needs a move. Whether that's a move to come back to us, he probably isn't good enough to come back to us, is he? No, he would be our 8th choice defensive midfielder if he came back to us. That's based on a year ago as well. We'll scout him again. Lebrun needs to get back in the Greek national team. Then Cordoba and Duffy in central midfield. Sanchez on the left wing. Marola on the right, who of course left to go to Napoli in January and has continued his slow decline, really, from his height 3 or 4 years ago when he got 20 goals in 27 appearances from the right wing, averaging a 7.74. It's just been a very slow decline since then. And really, we should have let him carry on that season at Milan. He started the season with 2 goals from 2 games at Milan. We then threw £20 million at him and brought him back to Greece and never played him. And I think we broke him a little bit doing that. He thought that was it. That was his moment. And then we spent a year and a half not playing him. And his time back in Italy with Napoli hasn't been a lot of fun. And then Damien up front. And we did mention a couple of episodes ago that Damien has now gone to Borussia Dortmund. Still not added to his 4 England caps. 5 goals from 8 starts in the Bundesliga, though. I guess it's a step up on what he was doing with Paris Saint-Germain. He's still not consistently starting games. We're going to scout him again as well. He's actually a price we could probably afford at some point now, although wages would still be an issue, and he is considerably worse than Carnivale. He's actually a 3-star player against Dave's 2.5, so he's only marginally better than Dave, which I find hard to believe, really. But the fact he's not adding to his England caps, despite playing for 2 of Europe's biggest clubs and earning lots of money, suggests he might just be dining out on these performances with us, and he's actually lost it because of his off-the-pitch problems that he was having. So maybe Damien's done. Maybe we never go back to Damien. The rest of the bench, Svilar, Chios, Janutsos, Jura, Bozic, Androutsos, and Carnivale making up the bench. End of season awards this year. Antoine German getting Player of the Year for a player who started the season knowing that he was reserved to last year's Player of the Year, Sanchez. And you tell me I don't develop young players. This guy, we signed at 18, loaned him out for a couple of years, got him into the first team ahead of someone who was outstanding last year, and he's got 9 goals, 16 assists, and a 7.62. That's how you develop a young player, boys and girls. Duffy second, Michaelis third. Carnivale got Player of the Year with this goal that we'll have a little look at now. See, this was back when Marola was still in the team. Goodness me. That shows you how long ago this was. But it's Xanthi who's got the ball, actually. Cordoba clearing it forward to Carnivale. And is he just going to skin it? He's not going to skin the players. He's just going to hit it from miles out. What a goal from Carnivale. Justified Player of the Year, goal of the season, I think. Signing of the season goes to Solakis, who came in to be our 3rd choice goalkeeper. And I guess he did play 10 games. He played a lot of the run-in when we were rotating a little bit. If that's our signing of the season, that does show just how little money we had to spend last summer, though. And young Player of the Year is German. Team of the season, Tennessee in goal. So our signing of the season isn't even in the team of the season. Tennessee in goal, a back four of Pezic, who has pushed past Kansarovic as our starting left back now. So Pezic, Criado, Michaelis and Felipau. Milo at the base of the midfield, Cordoba and Duffy ahead of him, and then German and Fernandez with Carnivale up front. That, I think, is hugely significant, that Sanchez and Lencina, who were the 2 stars of last year and still start every game for Argentina, not in our team of the year. German and Fernandez getting the team of the year. So in the spirit of trying to get our non-EU players down to 5 this summer so that we can get Acosta back into our squad when he returns from his loan, this screams at me, sell Sanchez and Lencina if we get big offers for them. Because non-EU players in this squad, we've got Tennessee, Felipau, Milo, Cordoba. There's 4 in there at the moment. You could add a 5th with Acosta and then let Lencina and Sanchez go. Obviously, we want Hernandez to be involved as well. So we probably still need to let one more go, maybe. And I think the one would probably be Felipau, because I think we could probably replace Felipau easier than we could replace Milo. Cordoba, no one wants to pay the money I want for him. And Tennessee we're in for the long haul with Tennessee because he's going to be awesome. Stats-wise, top scorer is shared between German and Carnivale. Highest average rating is German. Most assists is German. Most man of the matches is German. What a season this boy has had. Definitely it's time to move Sanchez on. Solakis best pass completion, and then Sanchez is king of the Naughty Boys Club with lots of red cards accumulated this season. That's something we probably need to monitor. 5 red cards in a year is a little bit too many. Season review, we did everything we were expected to do. We won the league, we won the cup, and we were fine in the Champions League, but we really need to start pushing on in the Champions League now. Interestingly, our average attendance is maxing out the Spaghetti had, and I think it is probably time, if we've got the money, to look to expand the stadium again, because if we're still only in a 23,000 stadium, if we want to really push on and become a dominant team in Europe, we need money to do it. We get money by getting 50 or 60,000 people a week into the Spaghetti had. I don't know if it's going to have that kind of expansion capacity, but hopefully it's got some. Club vision. What's Mrs Wearmouth looking for from us? If we have a look at the negotiate screen. Oh, there you go. Mrs Wearmouth is saying within 5 years, she wants to expand the stadium. Great minds think alike, Mrs Wearmouth. Wonderful stuff. Wants to continue winning silverware, continue winning the Super League, and then the ongoing stuff, maintain the best youth system in the world, and maintain the club's status as the most reputable club in Greece. So we are now the biggest club in Greece, and apparently still have the best youth system in the world, despite the fact it's not really churning out players. We talked about this a little bit on stream. Link is down in the description below. I stream 4 nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. The speculation on there is that our youth system is great, but we're in Greece, and Greece doesn't have a good youth attribute in one of the hidden attributes. So we are producing lots of great players for Greece. The only problem is they're not going to be great players for the Champions League because it's Greece. And we're only going to get the odd 1 or 2 here and there. And that's a problem. That's something I didn't really foresee when we decided to do youth development as part of this series. But who knows? That could change at any point. If we've got the best youth system in the world, surely it's only a matter of time before players from other countries start coming through it. Maybe. Dynamics-wise, Michaelis, Cordoba, Duffy are the top 3. They're our team leaders. They're all players who I would intend to be in the team next year, so we don't need to mess around with that too much. End of season team meeting is easy these days, just passionately. Well done on winning the title. Go do it again next year. That pleases everybody. Training camp destination, I think we'll go to... Let's go to Poland. We've not been to Poland before. And who's this? Who the hell is Danilo Candidi? And why is he turning down? See, here you go. This is a 17-year-old Italian who's come from our youth system and is turning down contracts. Look, Candidi, what's the matter with you? Could be a problem. Could be a big problem. Right, why don't we have budgets? Give me budgets. Remember, we want... remember we want 30 or 40 million. She's given me 7. She's downgraded my wage budget. We had £1 million budget before. It's now gone down to 950,000 a week and £7 million of spensies. It's pathetic. How are we supposed... What is she actually looking for competition-wise for that? Reach the first knockout round of the Champions League. That's all you're going to... If that's all you want, that is all you're going to get with this budget. We need more. But stadium expansion... We're adding another 10,000 seats to the Spaghetti had, which is awesome. Going to cost 19 million quid. So there is some investment happening somewhere, I guess. It's going to take 5 months. We're just going to be on a reduced capacity for those 5 months. But it is going to leave us to have a 34,000 capacity Spaghetti had by the 6th of November. So by our final Champions League group game, at least, maybe the last 2, we'll be in front of 34,000 people, and we'll have that capacity for when we get to the knockout round. So that's awesome. This is less awesome though, that our youth facilities have been downgraded and we presumably don't have the money to upgrade them again. We can try. I mean, you've literally said earlier today, Mrs Wearmouth, you want me to maintain the best youth system in the world. How do you propose I do that if you're not going to pay for it? So with so little money to spend, I mean, we have got quite a lot of spare wage budget because I was quite careful to bring that down over the course of last season to try and help this, which hasn't really helped at all, has it? Have we added debt? We haven't added debt for the stadium. So she has done that out of pocket. So I'll let her have that. She's done that out. She's done the stadium expansion out of pocket. Just do the youth system as well, please. Please. So if we have a look at the team report, and figure out what we're going to do this summer. We are definitely going to need to sell to buy. Looks like Acosta has gone away and done exactly what we want him to do. He's gone away, banging the goals in for River Plate, and he's going to come back as a 4.5-star striker again, in form, world-class player, world-class striker at 22 years old. Acosta is our starting striker next year, so we need to get rid of the other non-EU players. Cordoba stays, Milo stays, Hernandez is our second best defender now. He's got to stay. So really, we've got to be looking, and Tenesi stays. We've got, although Osman's back, so Osman probably needs to be sold this summer because Salakis is going to be fine as a backup. Osman's earning nearly £100,000 a week. He was a panic buy when we realised the non-EU thing was an issue, but Tenesi's our man. I think if we can get if we can get half of what we paid for him back for Osman, we'll just call it £10 million rent to have a goalkeeper for that year. But Osman probably needs to move on. Felipau probably needs to move on, but we are going to need a replacement for him because we don't have another right back. And then Sanchez and Lencina both need to move on. German and Fernandez can then both step up into the first team, and we can look to bring some youngsters in behind them. Likewise at right back, get a first teamer, bring a youngster in behind him. Pezic could play right back if he had to, with Kansarovic playing left back. Bruno Rafael returns from his loan this summer and should return a Spanish man. There you go. He's awaiting his... You better do that paperwork before you come back, Bruno. If you come back and you're not holding maracas, you're being sent back to Brazil, and that's you done. Goodness me. But he should just fit straight into the squad. So we're going to have those three left backs. So potentially Pezic could be right back next year, but it's not ideal. He's left-footed. It's not really what we'd want. But hopefully we can get some big money for Sanchez, Lencina, Felipau, Osman. I mean, if we selling them at the most we've ever been offered for each of them, that's £150 million worth of player there. It's just whether we get those big offers this year when Sanchez is not quite the same hot property he was the year before, but he still had a good season. Wanted by Valencia. It's not quite the calibre of club we were after him before. I didn't realise Sanchez was 6'4". Did that happen? Lencina is not wanted by anybody. These are both current Argentina internationals who've both had good seasons. I don't want to offer them out. I think we're just going to have to wait and see what offers we get. And then play and do our transfers from there. We're waiting for players to leave before we can bring anyone in because, bottom line, that budget doesn't buy us anybody who can fit in this team. So there's no point looking to buy right now. If we do manage to sell the players that I'm thinking, though, it would be nice to, I guess, just strengthen with more youngsters again. Get a conveyor belt running. I don't think there's any position where we need to strengthen with a world-class player. We're going to have two world-class strikers with Acosta and Carnivale. German and Fernandez are going to be fine as our wingers with youth behind them. Midfield of Duffy, Cordoba with Pepe and Dominguez behind them is fine. And we've still got Guras as well, the young Greek player who's going to come back from his loan. We could maybe do with another defensive midfielder. That could be Lebrou. I might just bring Lebrou back and fit him in there as backup to Milo, just to get another Greek player in the team. And then Michaelis, Criado, Hernandez are going to be fine. Criado and Dave were both in on 2-year loans, so they'll be sticking around. Calapitas is still backup for everywhere. Yeah, I think clear out those players and then buy youngsters with what's left. That's my plan. Let's see what I actually do. In fact, we've just had the European Championship squads announced. We've got 5 players in the Greece squad. So Michaelis, Calapitas, I guess you'd expect. Salakis, you'd expect as well. But these two guys, not so much. Papapanagis, I guess he's the reason Lebrou's not getting called up anymore, because he's out on loan at the moment at Parma, done a full season in Serie A. Forget bringing Lebrou back. Papapanagis is part of the first team squad next year and a Greek international. And Gufas as well has been called up. He's played 5 caps for Greece now. He's out on loan at Cagliari this year. But again, comes back into the squad this summer and needs to be part of that midfield setup. Almost really needs to be one of the 4. So if we were to get an offer for Cordoba, we could potentially go Duffy, Dominguez, Gufas, Pepe as our 4. Maybe. It's cool to see we've got 5 players in the Greek squad, though. Progress. Opportunity for a little bit of a positive spin to be put on our Champions League performance this year. Atletico Madrid won it. This is the Atletico Madrid who narrowly got past us in that first knockout round. As a reminder, we beat them 1-0 at their place in the first leg. Then they beat us 2-1 at our place and went through on away goals. But they narrowly beat us, but then went on to knock PSG out, to knock Leipzig out, and then to beat Juventus in the final. So although we're disappointed that we got knocked out in the first round, actually, we narrowly got knocked out by the team that won the whole thing. So maybe we're a little bit closer to winning the Champions League than I first thought we were. Maybe. This is proving to be a weird summer. We're getting lots of offers for lots of players. We've had an offer for Pesic for like 12 million, German for 8 million, now a 17 million pound offer for Duffy. We're getting offers for players, but they're really low. Bearing in mind we sold Bozic for 40 million, Betancourt 38 million, Sension 50 million. And because of that, we spent money. We spent 40 million on Duffy. The Spurs really think we're going to sell a player on at a loss, who's one of our key players, is still young. Give me 80 million. It's a weird summer. I don't understand why the offers are so low. Has it still got some of the previous offers on here? Yeah, there you go. So Pesic, 8 million. Milo, okay, that one's quite high. But still not enough for me to want to sell him. German, 5.5 million, raising to 7.5 million for our player of the year. Why on earth would we sell him for that price? Absolute madness. As you might be able to see from the top there, I have spent my transfer budget as well. Dorisley Chermont was already coming in. This is a Brazilian left back / left winger who we'd already arranged to bring in like 2 years ago, or else I wouldn't be bringing him in. In fact, I say that. Is he what? No, he hasn't got Spanish or anything as a second nationality. So, yeah, it's a stupid transfer because it's another non-EU player, but I did it ages ago. But the one that I've just done is Nicolaj Licker. Nicolaj Licker. Let me know down in the... It can't be Licker, surely. He's a Danish wonder kid, just turned 19. Because when we were first negotiating with him, he was still 18. He turned 19 during the negotiations. He's an attacking midfielder, which doesn't really fit into my system. But I'm thinking what he actually is a Mazzala. He can fit into that Mazzala role. There's no weakness there for him as a Mazzala. Equally, he'll make a pretty decent advance forward, other than the fact his finishing is a little bit off. But I'm thinking we get him in, train him to play central midfield straight away, similar to what we did with Pepe. And he's going to be a very solid central midfielder for us, or also an attacking midfield option if we feel the need to use an attacking midfielder. So either way, he's a decent addition to the squad for £7.5 million. Got 12 goals in 15 appearances for Copenhagen so far this season. So he is a wonder kid on the rise, and to get him while he's still relatively cheap and EU, that's why we've made the move. But that is our budget gone. Our entire budget has gone on a 19-year-old Danish wonder kid. It's like playing Championship Manager 0102 again. But if we don't get any proper offers for any other players, that might be it. So I'm not selling any of my players on the cheap. That's just stupid. It is the 1st of July and plans are already changing. Firstly, I've just put 3 players on the transfer list. Osman, you expected, but Fernandez has also gone on the transfer list because he's out of contract at the end of next season and is refusing to sign a new one. So we're going to sell him. We'll have to keep Lensina. That changes that plan a little bit. I mean, to be fair, if you compare the two, Lensina got a 7.28 and 10 goals last season. Fernandez, despite getting in the team of the year ahead of that, was on a 6.99 and 5 goals. So Lensina's a much better player. Fernandez is just clearly too stroppy. So he can move on. He's done. And we've also put Pepe on the transfer list, mainly to make room for Gufas, because with Duffy, Cordoba and Dominguez already here, yes, Pepe theoretically is next, but he's also out of contract at the end of the season. We've got Gufas, we've got Laika, the new guy who's just come in as well. So Pepe seemed like the obvious one to move on. He's 22 now. He's not ever going to be Cordoba quality, whereas Laika probably will be. And we need to get Gufas mixed into the squad this year. So Pepe also on the transfer list. Looking at the squad, now Acosta's back. It looks good. It looks like a really good squad. We could do with another player on the right wing if Fernandez goes. We could probably do with another right back so that we could move Felipau on. Calendar needs to move on, but then we've got Salakis as his backup and the youngster Abaroa, who's going to be going out on loan this season. Rafael is back and is now Spanish, so we can lose one of our left backs. We're just waiting for the biggest offer. There's both Kansarovic and Pesic linked with big offers. I think Rafael is probably going to be my starting left back next year because he's the one with all the potential. So we're probably going to go with Rafael at left back. So Pešić, he's linked with a big money move to Barcelona in the media. Some big clubs in for him. But we got 50 million for Sension when he went to a big club. I'm looking for a similar sort of amount for Pešić. I don't want to sell him cheaply. So there's still business to be done. It's just waiting now. Sitting and waiting. I'll see if there's any free transfers. I would suggest there's probably none that will improve our squad. So we are just waiting. Well, I've run into yet another squad registration problem. And that is, of the 8 non-EU players we have, only 5 of them are allowed to... No more than 5 of them can be over 23 or 23 and over. So if we go through adding players in, if we add Acosta, he counts as one as the over 25s. Tennessee doesn't, but then Sanchez does, Lencina does, Milo does, Cordoba does. So then when we try and add Felipau, we can't register him. So one of those 6 has to leave this summer. Acosta, Tennessee, Sanchez, Lencina, Milo, Cordoba, Felipau. The obvious one is Sanchez because we've got German to replace him. It seems a shame to have to transfer this Claudio Sanchez, who's one of our best players at the club. But he's got to go. Sanchez or Cordoba. And no one's in for Cordoba. We need to keep Lencina if we're losing Fernandez. Claudio Sanchez is going to be leaving, and I'm very sad about it. Well, there's our first big sale of the summer. Pešić has gone to Valencia for £44 million. I just noticed there he's been upgraded to an elite fullback. I don't think he was showing as an elite fullback while he was still with us. I mean, he is another example of good business. We brought him in for £4.8 million in January 2 years ago. He spent a year as backup, a year in the first team, and now he's gone for £40 million more than we paid for him. It only adds another 14 million to our... Or it's not even another 14 million. We had nothing in our transfer budget. It adds 14 million to our transfer budget, but it's someone we don't need to replace because we've got Kansarovic and Rafael as our left back. So it was just an extra spot in the squad, and we're going to need to spend the money that we get for him on wingers because we're going to be losing Fernandez and Sanchez. Sanchez, there you go, Pepe's gone as well. There's your confirmation of that one. So we've got 16 million pounds to spend. Sanchez is probably going to be going out on loan. We were offering out for transfer. We got as low as 25 million and thought, you know what, for 25 million, I don't want to sell him for 25 million. I think he's worth more than that. So if we can loan him out to a Spanish club for all of his wages for 2 years, he comes back with a Spanish passport. Yes, he's 24 then, but if he continues to get better, we could have a 24-year-old with still a year left on his contract who's going to probably be a world-class elite level winger who's an EU national, and we can then reintegrate him into the squad then. So that's the plan, I think, with him. Calendar is just waiting for a work permit for his move through to Arsenal, which is for roughly what we paid for him, so we're not going to make a loss on him. And Fernandez should be on his way to Granada for a £9 million deal. I'm just going to see if we can bump up our retained revenue. We can't. So we're going to get 40% of these two. That's, another 8 million or so. So we're looking at somewhere in the region of 24 million pounds. And if we go and look at our squad depth, we need to spend that on wide players, because if Sanchez is going, we've got German on this side, we've got Lencina on this side, Fernandez is going. Carnivale can be a backup on both sides because it's likely that Acosta is going to be starting this season, but we still need one more winger. If we say Carnivale covers both, maybe Carnivale covers left wing, we need a right winger. We need Marola back. We're not going to get Marola back. But every other position, I think we're sorted. Rafael and Kansarovic is fine at left back. Felipau, Kalapitas can do right back. Michaelis, Hernandez, Criado, and Kalapitas as a backup can do centre back. Tennessee and Zalakis are fine in goal. It would be nice to get another defensive midfielder in. It might still end up being LeBrou, but we've obviously got youngsters in that position. But I think we can go out and spend big money on a right winger to compete with Lencina. If they can also cover left wing, maybe up front as well, then that's a bonus. We just need to make sure they're EU national. That's the priority. EU national. And then whatever we've got left, Wonder Kids. Well, Mrs Wearmouth, this is a problem. The Greek job did become available. I applied for it. I declared interest in it. Mrs Wearmouth has got a grumpy on. I didn't even show you the first half of the meetings. I thought it would be a foregone conclusion. I just said to her, don't worry, Mrs Wearmouth. If they offer me the job, I'll do both. Her response: we cannot accept you taking a dual role and believe your focus should be on our club. We're disappointed with the lack of loyalty you've shown by declaring interest in other jobs and would like you to clarify your intentions. So I'm not going to be able to do the Greek job. Oh, I just have to say I momentarily had my head turned, but I appreciate that was a mistake. I won't be declaring interest in other jobs and promise to show more loyalty to the club. Am I still applied? I've never known this happen in Football Manager, ever. I am still applied for it. But if I take it, am I going to get sacked from Apollon? Let me know down in the comments if you ever known a club not want you to also do an international, not like getting a grumpy about you doing an international job as well. Is it just the fact I declared interest? Is that the problem? Baffling. Well, after nearly getting myself sacked, they don't want me anyway. The Greek Football Association have informed you that your application to fill the vacant Greece manager role has been unsuccessful. What? They've given the job to this guy who was, where was he? He was the manager of Atromitos, who last season, see where they finished last season. Last season, they finished 10th. He is more appropriate than me, apparently. Baffled by what's just happened there. He's 56. I guess we just have to wait our turn and hope he fails and hope we can try again in 2 years, 4 years, whatever it might. I don't understand. To me, it was a foregone conclusion that I get the Greek job as soon as it's available. I was given the England job before I played a Premier League game in one of my other saves earlier this year. Stunned. Well, after all the international kerfuffle, there has been more transfers. Firstly, Osman completed his move to Arsenal. I don't think I'd shown you that. Fernandez has gone to Granada for £9 million. Papoutsis, we've just let him go on a free transfer to Melbourne Victory. He wasn't any good. And lastly, Felipau is the non-EU over 23-year-old who's left. £20 million, gone to Schalke for the price we paid for him. We tried to offer out Sanchez. We tried to offer out Cordoba. Sanchez turned down his loan. We weren't getting offers for any of them. In the end, the worst of the lot was always Felipau, but the reason I wasn't offering him out is because we couldn't find a replacement for him. To emphasise what I mean, if we go to our shortlist and have a look at our scouted players at right back, in fact, just completely clear this and look at the right backs that we've got available. Can't afford him or him. This guy is non-EU. Can't afford him. He's Greek, but not good enough yet. He'll be good one day. And that story continues. There were no right backs. But in the end, we just, what I planned to do was bring this guy in and immediately loan him out because he's Costa Rican. So, of course, non-EU. He's 18 years old. The plan was bring him in as backup, go with Calapitas this year, loan this guy out, start getting him his Spanish passport. The only problem is he came in and was actually already considered better than Felipau. So I'm not sure what to do with him now. I guess, to be sensible, we still look to loan him out. He's only cost us £1 million. Loan him out for the next 2 years, and then we've got a 20-year-old Spanish right back. So I think that's probably what I'm still going to do. I am quite tempted to keep him because he does fit in the squad. We just obviously are then in the same problem of can't play all our non-EU players at the same time because we're back up to 7 in the squad, I think, with him. We've also signed a couple more players. Kyo Henrique is an 18-year-old Brazilian defensive midfielder. I hear what you're saying. What are you doing, Kev? This guy has a Portuguese passport, so he doesn't count as non-EU. So it's just another defensive midfielder option. I know I could have gone for Lebrew, but an 18-year-old Brazilian wonder kid with 5-star potential seemed like a much more sensible option. I see him as a long-term replacement for Milo. As soon as he gets up to maybe 3 stars of current ability, we move Milo on and free up another non-EU squad spot. And then lastly, we have our Fernandez replacement. Antonio Gato is a 19-year-old Italian under-20 international right winger, 2-star current ability, but 5-star potential ability. So he'll be the backup to presumably what's now going to be Lencina and Sanchez, because Sanchez is going to be sticking around now, it seems. What I don't want to do is get into the situation again where I can't play Acosta because it's so stupid. If we have a look, right, let's pick a team. So, Acosta. And then on this side, I guess German is the guy we go with over here. Lencina, and then Cordoba and Duffy in here. So how many non-EU is that so far? 1, 2, 3. And then Milo makes it 4. At left back, we can go with Raphael. And then we've got Michaelis. This is the problem. I want to play, no, wrong guy. So Michaelis will go there. I want to play Hernandez, but I'm not going to be able to because he's non-EU. So we might have to loan Hernandez out because Tennessee obviously has to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 5. So we should loan out Hernandez and the new right back. They're both still young. Neither of them are going to play much this season. Let's loan them both out. And then Sanchez can be the 6th guy who is there for when somebody gets injured. So he needs a season-long loan somewhere. And when I say somewhere, I definitely mean Spain, because then it's just 2 years to get the passport. And I'm thinking Hernandez as well. Where is he? Hernandez. We've messed around with him so much. He's 19 now. Criado's only here for 1 more year. In fact, if we try and extend Criado's loan for 1 more year, let's see if we can get anyone in Spain to take him on loan. And while we're at it, extend Criado's loan for a year if we can. We can't. Okay. Well, then it's going to be a problem we have to try and solve next summer. The new guy, Henrique, might be ready to replace Milo next summer. Maybe. But that's the team. So Kalapitas, after all this time, as it stands right now, is going to be our starting right back again. He doesn't seem to me to be a Champions League winning right back, is he? That's a big weak point in the squad. We've got just under £8 million left. Surely, with all the money I've brought in this summer, they can give me a bit more to spend. 94 million in, 32 spent. Come on, Mrs Wearmouth. Or have you still fallen out with me? Can I have some more transfer budget? Getting to the end of my tether with Mrs Wearmouth. Well, there goes that plan. Hernandez got in a mood about me offering him out, and then we only got offers from Juventus, Inter and Dortmund, so nobody in Spain. So Hernandez isn't going to be leaving, and there's no offers for Solorzano either, because he's only just signed a new contract. So those 2 youngsters are both going to be sticking around, I guess, which is fine. I mean, for the Champions League, it's certainly fine. We're just going to have to rotate more in the league, I guess, to accommodate them all. We are going to have to move on one of our senior Argentinians. They're all Argentinian. We're going to have to move on one of them next summer, because next summer Tennessee joins the 5 that are already in the squad that are over 23. So next summer, one of Acosta, Sanchez, Lencina, Cordoba, Milo or Tennessee has to leave the club. I've just given Sanchez a new 5-year deal. It might not be him. Don't know who. I love them all. It's going to be Cordoba or Milo. Cordoba or Milo. We need Dominguez to push on this year, force Cordoba out of the team and make the decision easy, or Henrique do it to Milo. They're the 2 that are under threat, I think. Just a quick shout out to everybody who considered Glauber Vinicius a flop as the confirmation of his move to Barcelona a year after he left us. And did quite well in Turkey, it turns out. He's going to come back to haunt us as the one that got away, isn't he? Lovely. There has been a little bit more transfer business, I think. Unless there's another sale that goes through, we are done now. There's a couple of fringe players who've gone out on loan, and we've just brought in in fact, just one more youngster. Atef Bani is an 18-year-old Tunisian international striker. Can also play central midfield. He's just come in for 3.9 million, gone straight out on loan to Larissa. bumping up the our fellow Greek teams. And we have a couple of little presents for future Kev as well that are going to be coming in January. Yes, they're both non-EU. They're both 17. We'll just loan them both straight out unless they're really good, and then I'll have decisions to make because we are maxed out on... Why do I keep doing it? But this is what the squad looks like. And I think it's a decent squad. If we take it down to 3-star, just to show who our real key players are, Acosta and Carnivale, Sanchez and German, Lencina, Duffy, Cordoba, Milo, no left back apparently. That will change once Rafael gets back in the team. Michaelis, Hernandez, Criado, Solorzano, and Tenesi. Is that a team good enough to win the Champions League? Probably not. But we pushed Atletico pretty close last year, so who knows? I feel a little bit vindicated that after Mrs Wearmouth's shenanigans this summer, she's no longer on the favoured personnel list. There is a potential takeover in progress as well. She's ruined the save. Absolutely ruined it. I hope she leaves. Yeah, you hear that, Mrs Wearmouth? I want the Greece job. Ruined her reputation this episode. Well, we've played our first game of the season, and as you would imagine, injuries already. We picked up an injury to Solorzano. He's going to miss the first month or so of the season. Lencina got injured before the match, so at least we'll be able to figure out which non-EU players to play. As you can see, we didn't win, which is very unusual for us. I hope I've not ruined the team. It's Champions League draw day, though. As you can see, we are seeded first for this. There should be at least one more Greek club knocking around. There's PAOK, seeded third. Did Ike make it through as well? They did not make it through the qualifiers, but at least PAOK are knocking around. So let's get the top seeds out. There you go. There we are. Group D. Let's see who else we get. Milan, who we've beaten comfortably in the Wearmouth Cup every year. We know we're better than Milan. Joining us, Benfica, another team we've beaten in the Wearmouth Cup over the last couple of seasons. And then lastly, to finish things off, Celtic. I think that's a group we can comfortably finish top of. Fingers crossed. And that'll be what you see in tomorrow's episode. The first two games in the Champions League this year. PAOK have got Atletico and Tottenham in their group, so I don't think they're going any further. Let's just hit continue just to see which games are coming up first. And then we'll know what we've got on tomorrow's video. Where are we? So, Celtic and Benfica tomorrow. Lovely stuff. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.